Have you been looking to start digital art for a while but have no idea how to use drawing software? Long ago, I used to draw on paper with colored pencils and I wanted to switch to digital so I could start taking commissions. But I barely knew what to do after opening Sai and no one explained to me what the hell a layer was. Hi guys, I'm Sayuui, a full-time anime artist. Eventually, I had to take a Photoshop course to even be able to start, and it was costly and frustrating. This video is everything I wish I had in the beginning. My main software is Clip Studio, but I'll walk you through settings, concepts, and keyboard shortcuts you can use in any software, and tell you what you need to know when jumping from traditional to digital. I made this video so you can follow through regardless of whether you're using a mobile device or a computer. Now let's go straight to Clip Studio. Okay, so I'm gonna make sure that illustration is checked, and usually I like to use this A4 preset because it's good for social media. And for resolution, 72 dpi is usually what they use for the web. However, I think 72 dpi is a bit too low, so I never know if I want to print my illustrations or my clients want to do it, so I try to keep it at 300. One of these days, I made a 1200 dpi illustration. I probably exaggerated with the resolution there, but it was for a banner that was gonna stand behind me in conventions, and it's pretty big, so I think it's better to exaggerate. In case you want to double this resolution, you can come up to edit and change image resolution, and you can mess with the scale, maybe 2. If you go 2 beyond 7000, by the way, your computer is gonna fry, so I wouldn't recommend it. Okay, so in whatever software you're using, you want to make sure that you go up to the window menu and you make sure that the layer window is checked. So if you're a Windows user, you want to hold down the Alt button and use your mouse scroll to zoom in and out easier. If you want to pan, you hold down the space bar. So let me explain to you what the hell is a layer. So basically we have this paper layer, we cannot do anything in it. And you should not draw on a layer that's white like this one. Whatever new layer you make in the software is going to have all the pixels transparent, just like a transparent sheet. And it's only gonna have some color or content when you paint it. Now I have a red circle, and these are the only contents of this layer. So I'm gonna create a new layer, make a blue circle, and yet another layer. I'm gonna make a yellow one. So I can change the order of the circles as much as I want by changing the layer order. I can mess up with transparency, layer modes, and this is why, let's say, using a brush with white is different from using the eraser. So let me try to erase this with a white brush. And this is what it looks like when I try to do it. And let me try to use the eraser now instead. And there you have it. And now for the magic part, I want to teach you. In whatever software you're using, you're going to have a foreground color, a background color, and this square. This square is basically the transparent brush, which means it's the eraser. And you can turn whatever brush you like into an eraser by just clicking this button here. So let me pick up a really fancy one, maybe a star brush. So I can either click here or press the C key on my keyboard, and there we have it. We have a star eraser. Now let's suppose I just want to see this blue circle that I just erased here, nothing else. So I can hold down the Alt button and click the layer's eye. So now the only thing I see is this layer I created. So if you're working on a layer-based software and you want to use the limits of the layer, there are 3 things you can mainly do. You can either alpha lock your layer, clip your layer, or select it. I'm gonna try alpha locking it. This is the icon to alpha lock on Clip Studio, by the way, and this is what it looks like on other software. And with this, the shade is on the base layer, but in case you don't want to do that, you can instead create a new layer on top of this one and clip it. This is the clipping button here on Clip Studio, and this is what it looks like on other software. I can paint it normally here, and when I isolate this layer and unclip it, you see that I went beyond, but because of the clipping, nothing happened. Now, if you want to make a selection of this layer, you can hold down the control button and click the layer's thumbnail, and there you have it. So you can hide the selection using this button here. Of all these methods presented, my favorite one is the alpha locking, because I feel like if I use too many layers, I get really confused and I get lost very easily. So So right now my favorite software is Clip Studio. I'm using the X version, but you can use whatever version suits you the best. I bought the X version because I sometimes make manga and it makes it easier for me. But if you're looking to get Clip Studio for yourself, please check out my link in the description. So when making line art, usually when making it traditionally, try to really keep your pen on the paper and try to make it as straight as possible. Oh my god, I'm failing so much. Anyway, but when making digital line art, you want to have confident short lines and you want to try to connect them, because if you tremble too much, look what your line looks like when I zoom in and into it. That's really hard to fix in comparison to this line art, for example. So basically this is the Clip Studio color wheel. You can spin it to change the hue, which is basically the identity of the color. And if you're a kid that used to hate math, I have very bad news for you, because this is a Cartesian plane. The x-axis is saturation and the y-axis is vibrancy, so it's basically just like you learned in school. The thing with this color wheel is it doesn't teach you how the colors connect very well. Usually when starting out, I feel like it's easier to stay within these area that's not very saturated and not very dark either. And I think this is better because a desaturated piece can easily be more saturated, but a very saturated piece is hard to work with. So because not very saturated colors also connect very well with other colors. So if you like this video so far, please leave a thumbs up so I will know I'm doing a good job, and please don't forget to subscribe for more videos. Okay, so when I'm making digital art, there is something I really like to do. I like to select everything outside the character like this, and then I revert the selection by holding down Ctrl-Shift-I. There you have it. You can make a new layer and fill in the selection like this. And basically what this does is basically avoid those white pixel leaks that every drawing has. This is what this drawing looks like with the white base, and this is what it looks like with a gray base. Again, white base, gray base. Another point I want to make, never forget to flip your canvas to see your mistakes. Basically, every software is going to have a window that's called Navigator. Make sure it's checked, and this is how you flip your canvas. I've been flipping my canvas vertically recently too, because it helps me find even more mistakes. But usually just flipping it horizontally will help you find a lot of mistakes. At the end of the day, what differs digital art from traditional art? And I can tell you for sure, it's knowing how hot or cold colors are. So if I give you these two colors, it's obvious which one is the hot one and which one is the cold one, right? But what if I did this? Can you tell me now which one is the hottest? You can't? I thought you were smart. Anyways, there's this chart. I'm gonna leave the link for it in the description that tells you how to make colors colder and hotter when shading. When you shade things in digital art, you want to make it clear what color is hot and what color is cold. This other blue tone is hotter than this other one. And when you're shading digitally, you want to have this clear on your mind. So to demonstrate what I'm saying, I'm gonna shade this red ball here. I'm going to establish that my light color is going to be yellow and my dark color is going to be blue. So I'm going to pick the red color and I'm going to shift towards the yellow, and I'm going to desaturate it a little bit and make it lighter. This is how I have the light color. Now, same for the dark color. I'm going to pick it up here, shift it towards the blue, and make it a little bit less saturated and darker. And there we have it. We have the light and the shadow color. Now, how much you're going to shift this depends on the reflectivity of the material you're working with. I'm working with a matte material, and it reflects almost like 30% of the light it gets. So I'm going to shift it 30% towards blue. I'm gonna leave a playlist in the description with everything you need to know about this content. Some people that teach you all of these things for free, so you can start learning them right now. Last but not least, I recommend taking your time to really memorize keyboard shortcuts, really see what they do, and maybe set your own up. This will make you drastically faster and more confident over time. And if you want to know the basics of marketing your art, you should watch this video next, and I hope to see you there.